Hi guys, welcome back to SIC's YouTube channel. And today we are back with a new concept where we will be interviewing students from USA. And today we have a special guest called as Geetanjali Murugesh, who is an alumni of New York University. She's here to share her experiences in the university and in US as well. So Geetanjali, how are you?
I'm good, Gauri. How are you?
Good, I'm good. So how is COVID treating you?
COVID has been pretty bad initially. I've been working from home for almost a year. But yeah, I got used to it. How's COVID there?
Yeah, it's pretty bad, but then we have started to go to offices now.
Okay. So glad to do this with you. I'm happy to share my experience. If this is helpful even for a few people, I'll be very happy.
Thank you. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. So, Gitanjali, tell us
Sure.
about yourself so the students can come to know whom they're talking to.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Geetanjali. I'm from Chennai. I did my undergrad in Chennai, computer science in SRM Ishwari. And immediately after that, I pursued my master's again in computer science in NYU. And I graduated in 2018. I've been working in an investment bank in NYU since then. So yeah, that's me.
So, when did you exactly realize, okay, yes, the time has come that I have to take studying abroad very seriously now? So, when did you actually realize that, okay, I wanted to go somewhere out of India to study?
Um, there is there's no right time to exactly realize that. So probably for me, towards the end of the third year of my undergrad, people are bombarding you with questions like, so what's next? Are you going to work? Are you going to study? Or are you going to get married? So I started looking at the options that I have. And also, I've always been inspired by the kind of exposure that my cousins got after they pursued their master. So they come into the US as this one person and they come out totally different. And also, I want to experience the American dream. So,
Okay.
yeah, so I just signed myself up for a GRE class, and that's how it all started.
Okay. Okay. So, were you studious enough to go to the States and study, or you just wanted to study abroad because your cousins were doing?
uh, I won't call myself very studious, but yeah, you need to be a little serious about studying if you want to pursue a master's, because it's a lot of money and it's a big investment, and that's what you'll be doing for your entire life. So since it's a very big investment, that's what you'll be pursuing for your entire life. So you need to be serious about what you really want to study, whether you can afford it, things like that. So you don't have to be the most studious person, but anyone can do it if they're a little passionate about it.
Okay, okay, that's true, that's true.
Yeah.
So, what steps did you exactly take? Like, when did you start your research work, and what was the exact timeline that you thought that it will take this much of time to go to the US and start my university classes? What was the exact timeline?
Um, yeah, I started around the beginning of my final year, but I would recommend starting it in your third year itself so that you have enough time to do your research. So, like I said, I just signed up for a GRE class and I went for about 4 to 5 months. And during that time, apart from attending classes, so I also looked up online, did my research. There are all the information that you need is available on all the university websites, and there are so many groups on Facebook and all kinds of social media platforms. There's an MS in US group specific for each university. So there are seniors out there who are always willing to help you any kind of information that you need. So I signed up for all those groups, started looking and shortlisting universities based on the courses that they offer. And since I'd done computer science in my undergrad, I want to do computer science in masters also. So it had to be a good university which offered good computer science courses, at least a little bit. So yeah, so I started shortlisting and then collecting letters of recommendation from my professors, and also all my documents like transcripts and stuff like that, and editing my resume. So those I would say are the first steps before you start applying, and also get to know how many universities you really want to apply to, so that you have a good list with you before you get started.
roughly does it take somewhere about 12 to 18 months?
Yeah, I would say 12 to 18 months, because you need to sit and prepare for GRE, take that test. In case your score is bad, then you need a decent score, right? So you'll have to take another attempt, and then you have to prepare for your TOEFL. And writing your statement of purpose, which is also recommended. You start doing it before your final year, so that there's a rough draft, and then you'll keep editing it based on every university that you apply to.
Okay.
So it really depends on the kind of coursework that you're looking for. So I would say it takes at least 12 months to do proper research and start applying.
Okay. And how many countries were you interested in? Was US the only one country that you were trying, or you were also trying for UK and other Asia? Like Singapore is also offering many courses, right? So were you interested only in US?
I was always leaning towards the US. I would say that was kind of a herd mentality sort of thing. But I also looked into a few universities in Singapore, like a couple of universities. I didn't end up applying there because I felt there are very few universities which are actually good, and it's very, very competitive. And I had only one shot at applying because it's a lot of money to even apply. So I wanted to, yeah, so I wanted to apply only to the US. Finally, I ended up applying only the US.
Okay, so how many universities did you exactly apply in US, and how many admission letters did you actually get from them? I mean, how many universities accepted you?
Okay. Yeah, so I applied to 6 universities. That's also because I started a little late, and there were some arguments in my house whether I should go abroad and study or not, because I come from a little conservative family. So all that got delayed. And but when the time I was applying, there was this Chennai floods, and I couldn't do anything for 1 month. Like I couldn't get my letters of recommendation and everything from my college. So all that got delayed. So I missed deadlines actually. So I would recommend you start early, keep track of all your deadlines so that you don't miss out on your favorite universities. So I ended up applying to 6 universities: UNCC, NYU, of course, Rochester, Northeastern, and what else? Illinois, and University of California. So I got an admit from NYU, Rochester, and UNCC. And NYU was an obvious choice because New York City, why not? Because the other 2 colleges were in a remote location. So I felt if I picked something in a city, then I had better opportunities and better chances of getting a job. So yeah, it was kind of an obvious choice for me.
Okay, okay. So while applying to these universities, did you apply to any scholarships as well?
Yeah, so some of the universities in their application itself, there is a provision for you to apply for scholarships. You'll have to upload your transcripts and certain other documents. So based on your merit, they'll see if you're eligible, and they'll provide you a scholarship if you're eligible. So I did get a scholarship in NYU. Yeah, so you can go ahead and apply. Whether they're giving it or not, it's their problem. But
Okay.
Definitely apply. Get it based on your merit.
Okay.
If you're a really studious.
Okay, okay. So, and there's something called as teaching assistantships and research assistantships and all, which is very, I think, popular in US at least. So, can you explain something about them as well, so that we can get a clarity, like how? Because something that fantasizes me is like that they pay you to study in the university. You help the teachers, and they pay you, and your at least your monthly expenses, it gets resolved, right? So what is the process, and what exactly A&RA? Yeah.
Yeah, so teaching assistantship, you can pick any course that you like. And if you think you're a master at it, then you can approach the professors who are dealing with those courses. There are multiple professors teaching the same courses because the population is such in universities. So you can just approach them and say that, for example, let's say you're good at algorithms, and so you can just show up at the professor's office and say, I think I'm really good at this and I can be your teaching assistant. And they'd look at your resume. So please take a copy of your resume, and they'll have an interview probably. Same thing for research assistantship. So if you're if you're really interested in a professor's research that they're doing. So all this information is available in the website. So you can look up any professor in the website, see what kind of courses they're teaching, what kind of research they're doing in the labs in the universities. You can mail them or show up at their office whenever. Just take a copy of your resume and they'll be really happy to help you. So if they think you're a good candidate, then they will take you in. I didn't know that we could do this even before we enter the US. So you can start emailing them. So I would recommend doing that even before you get your admit, so that once the admit comes, you'll also be having all these opportunities. So for me, I didn't know that. Once I came here, I started applying. I did not get a teaching assistantship, but I started working in NYU Dental's IT department. So I had to like design courses for students, design exams for them, portals for professors, for NYU's dental. So since it was in the IT department, I was also able to put that on my resume. And yeah, the pay was also good. It covered all my monthly expenses like the rent and all that. Yeah, so apart from tuition, I didn't have to ask for money from my parents. So that's really cool. Once you're working, once you're studying and you're also working. So yeah, that's a good experience to have.
Okay. So how do you think, how much do you think that this much will cost for me when I am in US while studying and all? Do you have a particular table or a chart sheet for studying in US apart from the tuition fees, of course? Like, what will be the living costs?
It really depends on which city you're going to. So in New York, all my friends, me, all of us, we were paying around 500 to 700 rent, just rent. But in Arizona, people who went to probably ASU or some college like that, they finished their entire month's expense in $700. So it really depends on which university, which city, and even if it's a public university or a private university. So the tuition fees depends on what kind of university it is. So I would say when you're doing your research itself, find out all these things, see if it's in your budget. So all that really matters. So for New York, I can talk for New York. Probably the monthly expense would be, let's say you're on a budget, then it would probably be anything between $800 to $1,200, unless you spend luxuriously. But yeah, that would be the basic amount in New York. I can only speak for New York. Yeah.
Okay, so guys, then you have to note this point because what Geetu is saying that you have to do a part-time job, right?
Well, yeah, it's up to you, but it's really good to work and be independent. Once you come here, you'll realize even when I was in India, I did not feel bad about getting money from my parents and spending it. But only when you come here and you stay on your own, you're doing your own finances, you realize that. So yeah, it will it will make you guilty at one point. And it's also good to have that kind of experience. It will also help you get a job later. You can put all those things on your resume. So yeah, that's really cool.
Okay. So we divert from this money matter because it's a never-ending topic. We'll get back to your IELTS
Sure,
first.
yeah.
Yeah. So you said you applied for GRE,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, so most US universities require a GRE. So that was the first step that I did. I got a 310 in GRE. I went for classes for about 4 to 5 months, and sat at home and prepared for another 30 days, and took a lot of practice tests. And I got a little more in the practice test than in the actual test. So I was a little disappointed with my score initially. I didn't know if I had to take another attempt, but there was not enough time for me. So if you do it probably in your third year, then maybe you will have another chance to take another attempt. Yeah, so you need to take your GRE 2 years before you enter the US. At least that's how it was when I came in. So and also you need to take a TOEFL test. Most universities, at least in the US, ask for a TOEFL test. Some even accept IELTS. So make sure you know what test you need to take. And TOEFL, yeah, I got another 110 there. TOEFL is way easier than when you compare it to GRE. So GRE I prepared for 30 days. TOEFL I prepared for exactly 1 day, because TOEFL, if you know to speak basic English, you will get a 90 plus. That extra bonus mark is just that 1 day of preparation, just to know the format and all that. So because there's a speaking skills test, writing skills, and listening skills. So just to know the format. So if you know basic English, that's enough. Only in GRE you have all these very fancy words that you have to learn, sit and mug all the meanings of all those words. TOEFL is comparatively very easy.
Okay, yeah, I get it. Like you were saying that if you are preparing for GRE, then your preparation has to be very hard when compared to TOEFL, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So guys, you have to make a note of this point as well. So we'll jump to the next question. How was the visa process for you? And I mean, you must have applied for
visa process was yeah, visa process was
like,
pretty simple. So once you get
applied for a visa like 3 to 4 years back, right? How was the process
yeah,
then?
that's true. So once it was pretty simple. So once you get an admit, they send you a form called as an I-20 form, which has all the details about your university, your coursework, everything. You just have to sign it. So once you get that I-20 form, you can apply for a visa. Just book an appointment. So it'll be a 2-day appointment. So first day they'll do your biometrics, and second day will be the actual interview. And just make sure you have all your documents, like your financial statements, whether someone is funding for you or funding your masters, or if it's a loan, then take your loan approval, your resume, and there's a list of documents, so all your transcripts and all of that. And it's pretty simple. So if it's a well-known university, then they don't ask a lot of questions. They'll probably ask you why this university, why this course, stuff like that, very basic stuff like that. So once you have your admit and your I-20, you're good. The visa process should be very simple. Just make sure you have your financial documents ready. For me, they didn't ask it, but it's good to have it just in case they do.